Hello peeps, welcome to another video. I'm Stefan Vandil and I have a website called Freedom Academy HQ where I share my experience of social anxiety and depression that I had a couple of years back and how I overcame it. So today, what I'd like to talk about is basically how I had gotten housebound because of my social anxiety. So now we're talking about 6 years now. That's when I was housebound, right? And basically I was living at my mother's. I was 23, I think, 23 or 22. And basically, yeah, I was living at my mother's place, and you know, I had been feeling social anxiety for a number of years by then. My problem had started at 16, you know, like in first year of high school, and you know, I had always been the shy type, but my problem grew and grew and grew to a point where I was housebound basically, and I couldn't get out of the house. I was too nervous to even step outside. And I just want to share a little bit of how that happened, right? So like that you can maybe have some little bit of connection to what you're going through, and maybe a little bit of inspiration to know that if you're going through this, that you can also get out of it, okay? So yeah, basically I had social anxiety in high school, you know. I had some friends, and with them I was comfortable, but it was all the rest of the people. I was always really shy and socially anxious, and basically what this pushed me to do, which was the main problem I find, is I was an indoor guy, you know. I started playing video games a lot, and so I started playing this particular video game called Diablo 2, right? And that was the biggest mistake that I've ever done, because if you're familiar with Diablo 2, I mean, it's a highly, highly addictive game. It's a role-playing game, right? So you have your characters and you level up and stuff. Those games are so addictive. And basically, I play online with my friends. And so at one point, I chose to stay online and play video games instead of going to see my friends or going to hang out with my family or whatever. You know, I used to just play video games all the time. And it was about maybe a year after that I started self-medicating, because that was another escape that I used to use to make me feel a lot better, you know, because in my real life, like when I wasn't playing video games, I felt like shit, you know. I always felt nervous and I didn't like it. So me being drawn to alcohol, you know, was like match made in heaven, basically. Maybe match made in hell, let's call it that, because that's what it created. So yeah, naturally I started drinking, you know, and I really started to hit the booze very quickly and often, because when I was drunk, I mean, you know, I could be myself, and I was very loud, not very loud, but I was very, sorry, I was more, you know, I could be myself more, and I could just express myself better and stuff like that. So, you know, I started liking to go to parties and stuff like that, and, you know, a lot of time I'd be the guy that drank the most. But anyways, a lot of that, all that stuff started escalating really quickly. In the lapse of maybe 2 years, I eventually got to a point where, because I had a job at the time, and I got to a point, and I'm ashamed to say this, and I'm saying it, you know, online, and I'm just saying this because I hope it can help you, and for you to know that, you know, no matter where you are right now, you can get better. But I used to drink before work every shift. I used to drink before going to see friends. I used to drink before going to see family. Basically, you know, I was hooked on it because it gave me that liquid confidence, you know. And you know, alcohol is highly addictive, so then that grew. But you know, I was drinking because it made me more comfortable socially, you know. And the drinking part is what really made me come to a point where I was housebound, because without a drink then, I couldn't do anything, you know. So basically, if I didn't have alcohol, I couldn't get out of the house, and that's how the problem, that was rock bottom for me for like a year, you know. I stayed indoors, didn't do shit, played video games, watched YouTube videos, not doing anything, you know. I did have a job at the beginning of that, and I'd only go to work if I was drunk, which is, you know, now that I look back at my life, I'm like, oh my God, I made such a big difference. Like my life has flipped upside down completely, you know. So basically, that's what created the fact that I was housebound. It's just it was constantly trying to back away from social situations, back away from going to see friends, family, job. Oh, booze, okay, cool. I can drink before work, and look at that, I talk to everybody and everybody loves me and stuff. And I used to, quick little tangent here, I used to have this little system which I had like locked down, which was to hide the alcohol taste, the smell, you know, because when you talk and you're drunk, obviously it smells. But I had this, like, I would smoke a cigar and I hated cigars, but I'd smoke a cigar because I found that it got rid of the whole smell. And I'd have these throat candies, and it would make the smell actually like very disappear almost completely, where I'd be talking to my bosses and they wouldn't even notice anything. So, you know, that's just a quick little tangent there, but I had it locked down, you know, because I needed it. And yeah, now that I look at my life, I mean, it's completely different. And it was constantly backing away, not doing the stuff that I actually wanted to do, and letting my anxiety win all the time, basically. Like, oh, you're nervous? Okay, don't try to go with your nervousness. Just end the problem right now, use a control behavior, and drink some booze. You're going to feel much better, and the problem's going to be fixed. But the sad thing is that a lot of the thing with social anxiety is whatever you do that's going to make you feel better in the short term is actually going to make you feel worse and make the problem grow in the long term. And similarly, the same is true, the opposite is true. So vice versa, you know. If you do what's hard in the short term, so let's say you are socially anxious and there's a certain event that you want to go but you're anxious, and you push yourself to go anyways and you feel really nervous, the long-term consequences of that are positive, you know. But if there's that same event and you decide to not go and back away, let's say that you give a fake excuse that you can't go, you'll feel better in the short term, you'll be relieved. Oh, I don't have to go. But the long-term consequence of that choice is going to be that your problem is going to maintain and even grow, you know. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I hope you liked it. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Don't forget to subscribe. It helps me a lot and it gives me motivation to make more videos if I know that I'm actually, you know, maybe impacting your life a little bit. So guys, have a good week and I'll see you in the next video.